Hello, and welcome to Candidates Up Front. This is a public interest election program of Berks Community Television and the League of Women Voters of Berks County. Our May 16th primary election is coming up. Democrats and Republicans will vote for judges, school directors, and county, township, borough, and city officials. The deadline to register to vote is May 1st. To check your voting status, go to votepa.gov. That's vote.pa.gov. You can register, change your party, locate your polling place, or apply for an absentee or mail-in ballot. The deadline to register is May 1st. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot is May 9th. The League is interviewing those candidates who wanted to be interviewed in contested races. For each race, the candidates will get the same basic questions and the same amount of time to answer them.
Hello, I'm Bill Litfin, a member of the League of Women Voters of Berks County. 4 candidates are competing in the Democratic Party for a chance to be Berks County Commissioner. They are Dante Santoni Jr., Douglas Metcalf, Jesse Royer, and Isaac Torres Figueroa. Democratic voters across the county will vote for 2 to be on the fall ballot. The Board of Commissioners is the chief governing body of the county. The 3 elected at-large commissioners members perform the executive and legislative functions of county government. The term is 4 years. Current annual salary for the commissioner, $110,339, and the commissioner chair, $113,678. Please note that the opinions expressed in this interview are those of the candidate and are not those of the League of Women Voters or Berks Community Television. This interview is with Douglas Metcalf. Welcome.
Thank you.
Doug, please tell our viewers about yourself and why you are running.
Sure. As you said, my name is Doug Metcalf. I grew up on a 40-acre farm. My father was a union machinist. My mother was the high school cafeteria cook. I was the first in my family to go to college. I ended up going on to graduate school and receiving a degree in healthcare administration. I had a successful career as a healthcare administrator where I worked with many large healthcare organizations. I then transitioned into the nonprofit world and brought my skill set to the nonprofits. And I've had a lifelong commitment to giving back to my community as a public servant. I'm currently also an elected school board member in the Twin Valley School District.
What personal qualities do you have that would help you be an effective commissioner?
Well, I would say that, I'm an independent thinker. I'm a good listener. I think, public servants need to listen to constituents and need to listen to all groups. So I'm a good listener. I'm a fair and honest broker. I will tell you, honestly and fairly how I would deal with a situation. I come prepared and ready to ask good questions and find out the details of a problem, and a very pragmatic problem solver and a transparent negotiator.
Are you involved in volunteer or community work? And if so, please tell us about it.
Sure. I'm involved in a lot of volunteer work and community work. Over the years, I've been a big brother. We've hosted a Fresh Air Child. I've worked with first-time juvenile delinquents. I've spent years on either working for or being on the board of directors of nonprofit organizations. I've had leadership positions in many nonprofit organizations. And as I said earlier, I'm currently an elected school director.
What are the 3 issues facing the county that you think are most important?
Sure. I would start with housing. I think Berks County is having a housing crisis. We have a lack of inventory, aging stock, and an issue with affordable housing. So we need to look at that and address the housing crisis and specifically affordable housing, both in the rental market and the homeownership market. I think another area is continuing our long history of preservation of farmlands and open spaces. We need to continue our open spaces and ensure that we have that space here in the county. A third area I would say would be mental health. There's a lot of mental health issues. County plays a significant role with mental health issues, and I think we could do more. We could do better. We have, homeless populations. We have veterans. We need to look at, are we incarcerating people because of mental health, which we should not be doing. So those are some areas I would like to focus on.
Okay, so housing, farmland, and mental health. Okay. Many governments, including the City of Reading, have developed environmental sustainability plans. Do you see that as a useful tool to prepare Berks County for the future? Why or why not?
It's absolutely a useful tool. That's one of the things in Berks County, you can't find really any information about sustainability plans, environmental sustainability plans. I would, as county commissioner, work from day one to create a sustainability plan. We need to look at how do we reduce the carbon footprint of county government. County government is big, it's vast. We need to reduce that carbon footprint, and we need to take a closer look at that and how we can have more sustainable programs and services going forward. And I think any sort of building program should include environmental sustainability guidelines.
Let's talk transportation. Is there enough money to bring our roads and bridges up to standard?
So I think when you look at county government actually spends very little of its money, its budget, on roads and bridges. When we look at roads and bridges, that's largely our municipal governments and our state government, and through federal funding dollars as well. So we need to work with all levels of government, the federal government, state government, and municipal governments, to develop plans to bring our roads and bridges up to standards and for today's level of transportation needs.
Do you feel public transportation impacts economic development, and should the county invest in public transportation?
Well, first and foremost, we need to invest in economic development. Our economic development, though, needs to be strategic and targeted, and public transportation, childcare, and housing all affect economic development. You could not have a sustainable economic development plan that doesn't address those key issues, because you need to attract workers and get employees to where they need to go. For example, 80% of the people that live in the city of Reading work outside of the city of Reading. 80% of the people that work in the city of Reading come from outside of the city of Reading. So we need to look at transportations, public transportation, and modes of transportation, and where people are living and working to better meet our economic development needs.
Are there other transportation ideas you'd like to mention?
Well, I think passenger rail service is a huge priority. We've been talking about passenger rail service for decades. It sounds like it's closer than it's ever been. There is a consortium of communities working on this to bring passenger rail. I think passenger rail service will help the county, it'll help the city from not only an economic standpoint, tourism, and just make us a more vibrant place to live, work, and play.
Any comments on the airport? Anything going on out there?
So the airport as well. From a transportation standpoint, we have an airport. It's been underutilized for years now. We need to look at how do we better utilize that important resource here in Berks County, and what we can do to build on airport services, and looking at things like commercial flights, looking at things like maintenance of aircraft. Maybe we could be a hub for aircraft maintenance. There's different things that we could look at on that front. Yes.
Will our infrastructure, including technology, meet the needs of a growing economy? If not, what would you improve?
So I think our infrastructure needs to continually to be updated and improved. And I think some of the things we've already talked about, transportation, bridges and roads and passenger rail, all of those sort of infrastructure. But we need to look at things like our water and sewer. We need to look at infrastructure, our electrical grid. You know, especially as we move to more sustainable energy, we need a more a sturdier electrical grid that can support the needs of an economy more based on electrical energy. So I think those are all areas that we could look at, as well as broadband and internet. We need to make sure there's internet access to every corner of the county. Not just, you know, within the city, within rural areas, every corner of the county needs high-speed broadband internet access.
You already mentioned this briefly, but I'll bring it up again. Child care. Child care is hard to find and afford in Berks. Parents who want to work are stymied by lack of care for their children. Should the county play a role in this area?
So I think the county should play a role in any area that would help improve economic development for the county and the region. And child care is a huge piece of that. As you mentioned, there's a lack of affordable and quality child care throughout Berks County. We see people leaving the workforce to stay home and take care of their children. We need to improve the child care options and make child care more accessible. And I think where the county can have a role with that, the county needs to step in and support those efforts.
Most of the money the county spends for mental health comes from the state. The pandemic has affected the mental health of young and old alike.
Yes.
Is the county doing enough?
Absolutely not. The county is not doing enough in the realm of mental health. There, you know, as you said, through the pandemic, we have really seen the effects of mental health. We need to continue to reduce the stigma of mental health. We need to improve access to mental health services. Specifically some areas that I'm concerned about is crisis care. I think there's times when we don't have enough providers or the right providers to provide that crisis intervention from a mental health standpoint. I think we need to look at specific populations. For example, our veterans. Are we doing enough to support our veterans with mental health issues? Are we supporting the homeless population with their mental health issues and helping them to get off the street if being on the street is primarily because of their mental health condition? And then lastly, you know, we need to make sure we're not incarcerating individuals solely or mostly because of their mental health issues. We need to treat those, and we also need to focus on addiction and substance abuse and treatment, make that accessible and affordable to everyone in the county, regardless of where they live in the county.
Building a new prison was put on hold by the current Board of Commissioners. What are your thoughts on when we should build, how large a facility we should have, and what programs we should have to prevent recidivism?
These are great questions. When we should have built previously. Unfortunately, this delay tactic, deferred maintenance means more expensive project. So now the cost of everything has gone up. It continues to go up. So this delay process hasn't served anyone well. As far as the size of the jail, I think that really needs to be looked at. I have not been privy to the specific details of some of the analysis of the jail project, but I would say my understanding is there's a high number of individuals in our county jail system that are pretrial folks. And we need to look at, is that the best place? Is that the best use of our jail? How many beds do we really need? It's a big expense for the county, and we need to look at that more closely so we're building a jail that is the right size that we actually need. And if we have individuals sitting in our jail system that shouldn't be, we need to provide them the mental health services or the pretrial services they need to be out of jail. And then we need to focus on building a prison that is sustainable and meets the needs of the county.
And any thoughts on how to avoid, how to prevent recidivism?
Well, again, there are some great programs already out there that are trying to tackle this, and I think we need to continue to support the existing programs and build on those. Things like treatment court and those sort of programs that are trying to interact with people and keep them out of the criminal justice system. Systems, especially with like first-time juvenile offenders, working with them in an appropriate way.
Public parks were a huge antidote to the cabin fever of the pandemic. And public libraries are where people without computers or internet go to apply online for jobs. Is Berks investing adequately in these facilities?
Well, from a public park system, Berks County is very fortunate. We have a very beautiful natural area that we live here in Berks County, and we have some wonderful parks. I think there is more we could do with those parks to strengthen the use of those and improve those. But we are very fortunate to have such a great recreational facilities, and wherever we can improve those and make those better, we absolutely should do. Libraries are we should have libraries all through the community, which we do. They provide a great public service, and we need to continue to fund the libraries and support the libraries and look at how they're being used and when they're being used, and how we can fund them to better meet the needs of our residents throughout the county.
Well, thank you. We have a couple minutes for your closing statement, if you'd want to give that.
Sure. So again, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I know that voters have a choice. On the Democratic side, there's 4 individuals running for county commissioner. They get to vote for 2. I would like to tell the voters and let them know that I think I know I have the experience, skills, and ability to do the job as a county commissioner and hit the ground running on day one. My background in healthcare and working with large groups of people and large budgets has prepared me, as well as my time working on nonprofit boards and on the school board, so I can hit the ground running. I think the second point of that is we need to elect someone in the Democratic primary that can get elected in the general election. I think I have a proven track record of being able to do that. As an openly gay man, I was elected twice as the only Democrat to a school board in an area that voted for Trump by 73%. So I have shown crossover appeal, and people have supported me from all parties as well. And finally, I would just say, I think it's important that all elected officials have integrity and are honest. And you could ask friend or foe, and they would tell you the same thing, that I am an individual of high integrity. I stand by my word, and I will always do what I say I'm going to do. So I think that's important, and we need to elect someone through the primary that is going to get us through to the general election so that we can make a difference here in Berks County. So thank you.
Thank you, Doug Metcalf, for sharing your views with us. Viewers, please remember, there are 3 other candidates for commissioner on the Democratic ballot: Dante Santoni Jr., Jesse Royer, and Isaac Torres Figueroa. You will vote for 2. For more information on candidates, please go to the League's online voter's guide, vote411.org. I'll repeat, vote411.org. All you have to do is type in your address. It will show you everyone on your ballot, along with information the candidates have provided. Vote 411 is safe. Be prepared when you vote. Use vote411.org. And thank you for watching Candidates Up Front.
You will find the Candidates Upfront interviews on BCTV and on its website and its YouTube page. And for more information on candidates, you can go to the League's online voters guide, vote411.org. Or you can contact Berks County Election Services, elections@countyofberks.com. Their phone number is 610-478-0000. 6490. And thank you for watching Candidates Up Front.